Hello, my dear students. Welcome back again to my channel. So today I'm going to discuss with you the chapter 14 of our lecture or the module number 12. So this is my PowerPoint presentation. The chapter 14 of our lecture is about the Philippine Commonwealth. Okay. So the Philippine Commonwealth government was for a 10-year transitional period in the Philippines from 1935 to 1945. So in preparation for the independence from the United States. And the Commonwealth government was a turning point in the Philippine history. Why? Because to the Filipino people, it was realization of their efforts to manage themselves and plan their own destiny as people. So the Philippines became a self-governing commonwealth in 1935. And among the provisions was the election in 1934 of a constitutional convention to draft a constitution of the incoming Commonwealth government. So it was presided over by Claro M. Recto with 202 elected Filipino delegates who decided that the constitution to be written would not cover not only the transitional Commonwealth, but would apply the Republic as well. So the convention finished its work on February 8, 1935, uh, and submitted it to the President of the United States for certification that its provision complied with the Philippine Independence Act. So it was certified on March 25, 1935, and it was subsequently ratified by the Filipino people in a plebiscite on May 14, 1935. So on November 15, 1935, the inauguration of the Philippine Commonwealth Government happened, wherein Manuel L. Quezon was elected president and tasked with preparing uh, the country for full independence after a 10-year transition period. So with Sergio Osmeña also as his vice president. And they took their part in the ceremony. Upon assuming the position, he took the task of laying the foundation of the future of the Philippine Republic. So into his speech, no, he said that I would rather have a government run like hell by Filipino than a government run like heaven by Americans. And the Commonwealth Constitution used to guide the Philippine Commonwealth government government. So was suspended during the Japanese occupation and was restored after the war until the new constitution was ratified. So what are the Philippine Commonwealth government? What are the primary concerns in the transition of the period? Okay, the primary concerns in the transition period were number one is the national security and national defense. Number two is about social justice of the country. Number three is about education. Number four is about language, of course. And number five is about economic development. Manuel L. Quezon was born on August 19, 1878. 1944. So Manuel Luis Quezon was a Filipino statesman, a soldier, a politician who served as the first president of the Commonwealth Government of the Philippines from 1935 to 1944. Again, he he was the first Filipino to head the government of the entire Philippines and is considered to have been the second president of the Philippines after Emilio Aguinaldo from 1899 to 1901. He also became the governor of um, Tayabas province before being elected as a representative in 1907 to the newly established Philippine Assembly. And in 1909, actually, Quezon was appointed resident commissioner for the Philippines, entitled to speak but prohibited to vote in the U.S. House of Representatives. And during his years in Washington, he fought for a speedy grant of independence by United States, which happened in 1935. So, what are the achievements of Manuel L. Quezon administration under the Commonwealth Government? Number one, his achievement of his administration, one of the achievements of his administration is the organization of government by creating offices including Department of National Defense, Institute of National Language, and the National Council of Education. Philippinization of the judiciary from Supreme Court to the Municipal Court. Okay, one of the important thing happening or one of the achievements of Manuel Quezon is our national language, which is now the national language we have is Filipino. Okay. So we have number two, we have granting of women's suffrage. Okay. Number three is creation of new chartered cities like Cebu, Iloilo, Bacolod City, Davao City, Zamboanga, San Pablo City, Quezon City, Cavite City. Hindi yung Cavite, it's Cavite City and Tagaytay City. Okay. The adoption of national language based on Tagalog, promotion of the national justice as shown by 8 Hours Labor Act enacted by the National Assembly and the appointment of public defenders or the government. So we have compulsory military training of able-bodied Filipino youths under the supervision of General Douglas MacArthur. Okay. Number 7 is taking of the 1939 official census of the Philippines. And number 8 is the improvement of Philippine economy as revealed by the growth of agriculture. And number 9 is the commerce and industry. Number 10 is the creation of Joint Preparation Committee on the Philippine Affairs or JPCPA. Number 11 is the passing of the 3 amendments of the 1935 Constitution. So what are those amendments? We have the tenure of the president, the vice president was 4 years with re-election of another term. So establishment, another amendment is the establish of a bicameral Congress of the Philippines, and letter C is the creation of an independent commission of election composed of 3 members to supervise the said election. So President Manuel L. Quezon adopted the social justice, program to arrest the increasing social unrest in Central Luzon. Okay, wherein President Manuel L. Quezon reinforced to land reform program. Okay. So here are the significant legislation enacted during the Commonwealth period. Number 1 is the 1935 Constitution. So the promotion of social justice to ensure the well-being and economic security of all the people should be the concern of the state. And that is the content of the 1935 Constitution. So how about number 2? Number 2 is about the Commonwealth Act number 178. 178, also known as an amendment to Rice Tenancy Act number 4045, on November 13, 1936, is provided for certain control in the landlord-tenants relationship. So how about number 3? The National Rice and Corn Corporation, or NARIC, on 1936 established the price of rice and corn, hereby held the poor tenants as well as consumers. So number 4 is about the Commonwealth Act number 461 of 1937. So it specified reasons for the dismissal of tenants and only with approval of the Tenancy Division of the Department of Justice. We have number 5, a Rural Program Administration. It was created on March 2, 1939. It provided the purchase and lease of haciendas and their sale and lease to the tenants. So number 6, we have the Commonwealth Act number 441. It was enacted on June 3, 1939. and created the National Settlement Administration, okay, with a capital stock of 20 million pesos. Okay. Is Claro M. Recto. Claro M. Recto he was born in Tiaong on February 8, 1890, so and he died on October 2, 1960 in Rome, Italy. He was a statesman and the leader of the First Filipino or Filipino Purse. It is a movement that attacked U.S. or United States neo-colonialism in the Philippines. So Recto was also a lawyer who graduated from the University of Santo Tomas in 1913. He was elected in 1919 to the Philippine House of Representatives and served for 3 terms as a minority floor leader. So he became the senator in 1931. So he switched his allegiance 2 years later to the Nationalista Party. He was a member of a mission to Washington, D.C., led by Manuel L, which secured the passage of Congress of the Philippine Independence um, uh, secured the passage of by Congress of the Philippine Independence and Commonwealth Act of 1934 or the Tidings-McDuffie Act. So Recto was also was appointed also as president of the convention, charged with drafting a constitution of the new Commonwealth Government. Okay, so what do you mean by the second Commonwealth? So, in the midst of actually of the Filipino-American War, sad news reached the Philippines when President Manuel L. died in New York. Okay, at the morning of August 1, 1944. Below was the actually there's a communication sent by the President Osmeña informing the government of the Philippines and the letter informing the Commonwealth Government that Sergio Osmeña already took his oath of office as a President of the Philippines Commonwealth to Justice Robert H. Jackson of the United States Supreme Court in the offices of Secretary Harold L. Ikes, Department of Interior, Washington, D.C. So, who is Sergio Osmeña? Sergio Osmeña is actually Sergio Osmeña, who was born on September 9, 1878 and died on October 19, 1961. Actually, Osmeña was a Filipino politician who served as a third president of the Philippines or the second president of the Commonwealth Government from 1944 to 1946. So prior to his succession upon the sudden death of President Manuel L. In New York, he first became the governor of Cebu in the year of 1906 to 1907 and became member of the House of Representatives from 1907 to 1922 as a Speaker of the House. He also served as a senator and as a Senate pro tempore, okay, before he won as a vice president in 1935 election as a running mate of the late President Manuel L. So in the early history of the Philippine politics, he was the oldest to hold the office of the president at the age of 65. But right now, no, until the election of 1916, we have Rodrigo Roa Duterte, who became the oldest to hold the office of the president at the age of 71 when he won in the 2016 national election. Osmeña is known as the first Visayan to become the president of the Philippines. And thank you for listening. That would be all. So please answer. Do not forget to subscribe and please answer your module number 10 using this lecture. I know this very short, okay, because we have another set of lecture on the following week. Thank you for listening and God bless.